All right, we're here at Arnies. Arnie's going to show us his planes.
So this is a 1962 Marine Saunier Super Raleigh, and it was made in France. So back in '62, there was 10 of these on a ship, came into the Toronto harbor, and what was Levin's Aviation at that time, they put them together. And then they were flown out to Calgary, and a fellow at Pinoca became kind of the dealer for them. And so I think there's probably 6 of them still flying in Canada. There's 100 horsepower model. This is 145 horse. And yeah, it's they never got to be popular because everything is metric, and people wouldn't were scared of that back then.
People don't know how to use millimeters.
That's right. And so it's just 2 sets of inches.
Yeah.
The engine is a Continental, which is just standard that we're used to, and so it has the like the leading edge slats, and those allow you to, so as soon as I see 40 on the dial, I rotate, and it'll actually, you can pull it off at that point. It's flying, and usually I just let it kind of fly itself off. So by the time it hits 60, we're in the air.
So it flies pretty slow.
Oh yeah, it doesn't do a stall as such. It'll do a high sink rate.
Yeah.
And some of the articles that were written, they called it the tin parachute. And there was a story of a guy that got caught above clouds, and he just sucked everything back and let it descend, and it landed. And it's got trailing link gear, so it'll really absorb a lot of punishment. So it's mostly a bush plane, except with that nose gear, when you get into a soft field situation, then you kind of start wondering if you're going to come out of there. But yeah, no, luckily it's all been good.
And you said it's about 172 speed?
Yeah.
Comparable to a 172?
Yeah, I see about 112, 114 indicated. And it's an early morning, late evening airplane because of that canopy. It's you're just
just the ant under the
you
magnifying glass
in there during the flight. It gets pretty warm.
And how long have you had this plane for?
It's just about 40 years, 1984.
So you're very familiar with it.
Yeah. So it has, the tail is 12 feet long, which is exceptionally longer than most aircraft. And so you have it with Fowler flaps and freeze ailerons. So you can get it flying so slow that you feel like it's going to go over, and it doesn't. It just, you can do a really tight circle.
And do you run out of elevator authority at that low speed? No, not with that big elevator, eh?
No. One of the problems with such a big elevator, the early on models had the brackets that attached to the fuselage, they were aluminum. And I guess within a year or 2 after we bought it, this AD came out, and I found cracks on it, so I had to get new brackets.
And they're steel ones?
They're steel ones now, yeah. So that eliminated that problem. These are like a 172 over in Europe. There is a lot of these over there, but in total in North America, I heard there was about 125 brought in, and they're from 100 horse all the way up to 300. There's one model that can tow 4 gliders at once.
Is that right?
It's a tail wheel, and yeah, it's like there's some old flying magazines showing them doing that. So yeah, very nice plane. Yeah. All right, tell us about the orange one. Well, the orange one is the current project. It's a just aircraft Highlander. And
people on this channel are going to be very familiar with this plane.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not this particular plane, but they are going to be familiar with the apex hanging from the front of a Highlander for sure.
Right. So I ordered the kit in 2018, and then we were on holidays, and I started building it in probably about April of 2019 or 2020 was. Yes, it was just after COVID started anyway, so it was a good project to get going on. The fabric, the orange fabric, is Ortex, and so you don't have to paint it. The color's right inside of it.
And how was the Ortex to put on? Was it good to work with?
It was good to work with. I'm allergic to the chemicals in the other types of coverings, and so that was just my choice.
So, and does it go on relatively similar? Like you glue the seams and stuff, or is it sewn on? Or
so it has to have at least a good primer underneath. I think like an Endura type primer, a 2-part primer, and then you paint on the glue. And it's water-based, and then you wait a day because the water has to evaporate out of the glue, but you have this film there. And at the same time, you paint the back of the fabric where it's going to attach, and then you just go along with an iron. After that second 24 hours, you can set it up and initially attach it on, and then keep working it and getting it in position. Once you have it in position, you take the heat up, and that begins to tighten things up, and everything's in position.
So it's like a heat shrink.
That's right. Yeah. And then there's a final heat shrink because you have to get over a certain temperature for it to be safely adhered.
Yeah.
And so it's good that way. Like these panels are covered. It's just aluminum panel covered with Ortex.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And so it makes it really, really handy that way. And I did the inside of the panels as well. In fact, we'll take it.
It looks really nice, the fabric.
We've been doing some weight and balance stuff, so everything was just hung on to simulate where everything is. And so we'll just take a door off, and then you can have a look inside there. So on deciding to get the Yamaha, it was initially a conversation with, of course, Steve Henry.
Yeah.
And so I found one engine. I was all excited, but it didn't have everything with it. And so then a fellow from Beaver Lodge here, he had a snowmobile for sale, the 2006. So in this case, it's the 2006 to 2010 Apex, the 998cc that works for this. So I bought the whole snowmobile. Everything ran good. But I'm not like a real engine guy.
Yeah.
But I found the fellow in Peace River who runs the Yamaha dealership. He just knows these engines in and out. So I took it to him, and I wanted it like 0 times.
Yeah.
So we went through it, and just all new bearings, everything on it. So
it looks brand new.
Yeah, it hasn't been run yet. So
that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it will be. So the changes on it. So there's a header that's special built for this.
And did you have that built, or were you able to just buy that from somewhere?
I bought it from a fellow who was specialized in making them for the Yamaha. Initially in the snowmobile, there's an oil heater on it. And so replaced that with an oil cooler. Mm-hmm. So now there's also a radiator for the oil
That's
cooler.
What this one in the front is the oil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the one down below is the cooling. Yeah. And the gearbox is a Teal Jenkins gearbox from I believe he's in Nevada area.
Seems to be the gearbox for these engines that everybody's going with, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Tested to over 700 horsepower.
And did this, oh really?
Yeah.
Spindle come with the gearbox?
No. So that's made by a company called Saber, S-A-B-E-R.
Yeah. And
he's a pretty intelligent fellow. He asks all the right questions to make sure you get the right bolts for what you're doing. And and so that was just to get the prop out a little farther for the cowling fit and everything. So the muffler is a Hayabusa muffler.
All right.
So it's a little bit heavier.
I can't wait to hear it.
There's a fellow I bought floats off of down around Ponoka Way, and that's what he was running on his. I made it fairly quiet. It still screams.
Yeah.
You get up there, but it was good.
Good set of noise canceling Bose headset, and probably fine in there, eh?
Yeah. And it actually should be quite a bit quieter even than normal airplane stuff. So,
what about these headrests that I just noticed? Did you make those, or are that part of the kit, or
the upholstered stuff? Yeah, my wife did those for me.
I like them.
It's your head ends up being a little close to the there, and especially in turbulence, you're definitely going to hit it.
Yeah.
And a little bit long on the legs, so it gets me back there.
See, I don't have that issue in mine.
So stuff I did to change the kit, I moved the instrument panel about 3 inches back towards me. And of course, you can't think of everything that happens. That in turn required the sticks to be shorter because it had to clear the panel. So you learn as you go.
So you had to shorten the sticks?
Shorten the sticks.
Yeah.
And so when I was down in North Carolina taking the training, the instructor there showed me some stuff that they do to the elevator. So these planes apparently are, you spend a lot of time with the stick back on final, or you have a lot of pressure on it, which starts to bug your muscles in your arm. And so they put about 1.5 pounds in each tip of the elevator. And that gives you a balanced elevator. Not that you need it, because we're at 100 miles an hour, there's not going to be vibration problems. And so that's nice. It makes it, it sits where you want to leave it.
It just takes the pressure off your arm a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there elevator trim?
There is.
There is, yeah.
And there's another little trick on it, that at the front, because the trim works off of a long cable, there's really no way to add much friction lock to it. So just kick some of this stuff out of the way. On the back of the elevator.
Oh yeah.
The elevator, that part is there. So as that comes up, the wind resistance keeps your trim where you want it, instead of, because if it's back here, it just starts to move a little bit. So that part helps too. And what the guys are telling me, you actually use very little nose trim at all. So that's that. So then I also have the shock absorber in the tail wheel.
Show that tail wheel.
And
that's what I was thinking. I'd really like something like that for the Avid.
So the kit didn't come with that, but I had dimensions from another fellow and pictures of all the material that went in there. So I built that system up and had it welded there.
That swing arm, that's steel, eh?
Yeah, that's steel, 4130. Yeah, it's all 4130 in there. And this is a Tundra tail wheel, which is a locking tail wheel. And
does it just automatically lock, or you lock it?
There is a control in the cockpit, just a lever. And getting older, the reflexes aren't quite as quick, and so this may, especially in crosswind situations, that's definitely going to help.
Heck yeah! I spend all this time building this plane,
because literally a normal tail dragger, you're constantly fighting where the wheel is and where your rudder is. So to me, this has just made sense. So
it's free castering, but lockable.
As soon as you pull the pin, it can turn 360. Yeah. So it's nice that way. I did a turtle deck, smoked.
Show that turtle deck.
So it's kind of a heavier plexiglass. I think it's 100 thou plexiglass. And here, the place to buy that is Johnston Plastics in Edmonton. They're about half price of just about anywhere else. And that bend on the edge is done in a bending brake, and that does not break. You can put it in there and bend that 90 degrees as long as you're at normal room temperature, and that will bend to where you want it.
That just blew my mind when you told me that.
Yeah. And then I'm doing some other different stuff. I'm putting a couple strobes that are reversing. Yeah. That's for anybody who wants to fly up my tail. They hopefully might be able to see me.
Just the one, or are you going to put one on this?
No, there'll be one here.
Another one on this side?
That's a fairing on that I've added in there, and there'll be another fairing with.
Oh, right. Okay, to take up that gap there.
Normally, there isn't a fairing on these. Like, it's just left open. And my instructor said, well, it's definitely going to help with a couple miles an hour to put a fairing in there. So, yeah. And the baggage door was added.
I really like the baggage door. It's really nice.
Normally, guys are doing just a small one. Yeah. And I decided, well, I can squeeze myself around there, and it's much easier to stuff stuff in, and I can get to this area back here to get to the ELT. So that helps quite a bit there. Any
idea what you think you might be able to put in there for weight? Or?
Actually, it isn't that much that you can carry in these.
Yeah, mine neither.
Yeah,
I think my back one, with the old engine, it calculated to like 34 pounds or something like that. It wasn't much.
if I reduce the fuel to say 3/4 and whatnot, I can probably get up to around 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it isn't a lot, which is in a sense is disappointing because it's a bush plane. You'd like to be able to
The more useful load, the better, right?
bring the chest full of the good tasting stuff.
Yep, that's right. Do you have any idea what your useful load will be roughly?
The useful is around 700, so I can have 2 heavy people in there. And full fuel and she's still.
And I see it doesn't have an eye there, so it's not an ultralight.
No, this is amateur built. So
what's the gross on it?
1650.
Oh yeah.
No, excuse me, 1550.
1550.
Yeah. So I'm also an inspector for the home built thing in Canada. So it's
so when I'm done the boat, you're going to come and inspect it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we should have a conversation about that hereafter. But I can't do the inspection myself. So
on your
inspector,
own?
I can do the work. And then another inspector came and so it's had its final inspection and I'm just finishing up the last little bits on it.
So once it's balanced out, you're ready to go?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's right. So in a hopefully 3 weeks or so, it will be flying. So.
Well, when you get it running, I'd love to come back and get it on camera.
Yeah. It's probably going to take a number of hours just to check everything out before I start. And of course, I have to do the 25 hours with no passengers to get it.
Here within gliding distance kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, not gliding distance. You can do a 25-mile radius of what you're going to call your base.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm not sure what else I can.
Well, it's a beautiful airplane. You did a real nice job. Very clean. You got a shot of those lights down there, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. So I just built a bracket that is held on with clamps.
Yeah.
And so you can see the clear part, but the whole thing is Lexan. So I just painted out the Lexan. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's so much bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the longer fuselage for the Highlander. And so the gear is a little bit heavier. They changed the gear, just brought the size of the tubing up.
Just to balance it?
No, just for the extra weight, I guess. And, in fact, when I was building it and putting it together, one piece or on each side didn't line up. And they had me send it back to them, and they fixed it, and it was back here within a couple of weeks. So
Who makes the gear? That's Highlander's gear?
That's Highlander's gear. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you took the things out of the motor? That's what's different. The motor's sitting way back.
Yeah. So
did you weigh it?
Yeah. So I've talked to enough people now to get the motor is getting moved ahead 1/2 inch, and that puts me just about in the center of the flight envelope.
Yeah.
And that isn't totally ideal. I'd love to be farther forward, but this is reality.
Yeah.
This is where we'll be on this one.
Just hang a heavier prop on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's also a leading edge cuff on it. So
there is,
supposed
isn't
to
there?
help you with slower flight. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy difference in the shape of the wing. Mine's got the speed wing.
Yeah.
So it's almost laminar, not quite. But
is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty flat on the bottom.
Yep. Yeah.
I was thinking about building a leading edge cuff just out of like some foam or something and then fabricing right over that.
If in retrospect, that's what I would have done after the fabric was on.
Yeah.
Because what happened is once I started tightening the fabric, because this goes up and underneath, started to pull it away.
Yeah.
And I had to get creative with smoothing that out. It's a Superflight product that I used in there to. So I might have lost some of the efficiency on the cuff.
And what is the cuff?
It's just a fiberglass piece. So that's from there to kind of back to there. That's the cuff. That's all it is. And all it is it's moving the
flow of
Just
air
change-
to a little bit lower. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just changing
Changing that cord line a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So did you make the cuff?
No,
it's-
the cuff.
it's a kit?
Steve Henry sells
Yeah.
the cuff as well. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
it's a gorgeous airplane.
yeah. So I've done the dual throttles. That's kind of what I have in the
Oh,
Raleigh
yeah.
too, because most of my flying has been stick in the right.
Stick in your right hand, yeah.
And when I trained in North Carolina, I had to learn the other way. I had to switch, and it wasn't that difficult really. It was, I mean, I learned to fly on 150s, 172s. So
Yeah.
you don't. The mind kind of remembers that, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey. All right. Well, appreciate you showing us your airplane. Can't wait to hear it run. Can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be there.
All right. Thanks, Arnie.
You bet.